This Arsenal team are not ruthless. Let me give you some perspective. If you go back 10 years, when Leicester City won the league, they beat Chelsea. The current reigning champions at the time was Chelsea, and they beat them. Remember that Riyad Mahrez goal. The next season, when Chelsea won their title back from Leicester, they beat Leicester in that season. They completed the double over Leicester in that season. The following season, when Manchester City took the title off Chelsea's hands, Man City completed the double over Chelsea, the current reigning champions. So Man City, the would-be champions, beat the current reigning champions at the time, both home and away. They completed the double over Chelsea. If you remember that Kevin De Bruyne goal, right, at Stamford Bridge against Thibaut Courtois. Then City won the league back-to-back, of course. But when Liverpool won the league in 1920, Liverpool beat Man City. You remember that Fabinho goal. Actually, Liverpool beat Man City twice that season. The next season, when City won the league, they beat Liverpool both home and away. And remember that Phil Foden screamer at Anfield against Alisson. City completed the double over Liverpool that season. And then City won, obviously, the league 4 times in a row, and then Liverpool won it again. And what happened last season when Liverpool won it, they beat Man City back-to-back. You also know they went to the Etihad and got a 2-0 victory. What is my point? My point is that is a convincing title-winning side where you know that the mentality in that team, they go to the reigning champions, they go to the current champions and want to win the game. And Arsenal do not do that. Arsenal are no killers. They are not ruthless. And I said this in the previous game at Anfield, where Arteta set out to defend. They ultimately lost the game 1-0. But I was like, you need to be cutthroat. If you want to be the king, you go to the current king and you cut off his head in front of his people and you show them that there's a new ruler in town. Arsenal do not do that. They go to the Etihad, look for a draw. They go to Anfield, look for a draw. And in this case, again, it actually looked like Arteta was completely okay with a draw. I don't know. I just don't think that's the right mentality to have. Of course, teams this season are far from their best. Man City, the closest title rivals, they are far from their best. Although on the same points with Villa, both are 6 points behind Arsenal now after this draw, this 0-0 draw. But it looks like Arsenal were happy with that. And I don't know, I think it's a huge opportunity missed. This is the Liverpool side that's lost so many games this season. They're so far behind Arsenal. They're not even a title race. They got a goal that shouldn't have been given just to draw to Fulham. Why can't Arsenal beat this Liverpool side that's missing Mo Salah, that's missing Isak, that's missing Ekitike, goal scorers? I don't know. I just feel like that's not the right mentality to have. Arsenal started well in the first 20 minutes, but then Liverpool grew into the game, especially when Conor Bradley had that shot, hit the post, unlucky, hit the bar actually. But I think Liverpool in the second half completely showed their dominance, their quality. I think they went onto that field and were like, we are the current champions. You heard what Szoboszlai said. You heard what Szoboszlai said earlier on and said that actually Arsenal are not champions. We're the current champions. So they should be worried about Liverpool. And they completely dominated that game. Unfortunately for Liverpool, they were missing that killer instinct, that striker, that number 9, that finisher. Salah, Ekitike and Isak were missing for this game. So obviously they didn't even have a shot on target. By the way, very interesting that Liverpool have not had a shot on target for the first time since 2010. Such an interesting statistic, but I do think Liverpool played well. The only thing that was missing was a shot in the final third, or a shot on target and some accuracy. But besides that, I think they kept the ball excellently. Gravenberch and McAllister in that midfield were totally superior. At some point in the second half, Liverpool had 70% possession and Arsenal were just praying to keep a clean sheet. They were playing to keep a clean sheet. They were not even attacking. So for me, Liverpool did well. Everything else, they did well. Their defending was excellent. Konate was excellent. Van Dijk was excellent. So was Arsenal's defending too, right? Of course, because I don't think the firepower in both these squads was enough to trouble each other. But I do think when it comes to a game of possession, it was so intriguing. It was so entertaining to watch. I was so intrigued, but the quality was there with Liverpool just turning it up a notch in the second half, turning up the tempo and really keeping possession well. So if it was a game of possession like in training, Liverpool would have won it, but unfortunately they were missing that killer instinct. Now for Arsenal's side, Gyökeres was bad. Gyökeres did not influence the game at all. He had about 7 touches. in that match. I just do not think he's good enough for Arsenal right now. And it looks like Arsenal are actually getting through, or they are top of the league without really much contribution from Gyökeres, without him playing at his best. We know he scored a few goals, but look at who those goals have come against. Right, his last one was a penalty against Everton, so he is not looking very good. He's not looking very convincing, and will have to go to the bench when Jesus is fully fit or when Kai Havertz is also available, simply because he's not mobile. He does not fit the Arsenal way right now. And I was pretty shocked to see that when Arsenal are needing a goal, they're subbing off Martin Odegaard, they're subbing off Bukayo Saka. When you need a goal, and these players are supposed to be world class, but you need a goal. And I think going 8 points clear would have given Arsenal some breathing room in this title race. You look at the fixtures, Man City's fixtures, a bit tough. There's Spurs away, there's United away, there's Liverpool away in there. So City will drop points if this is the City side that is dropping points to Sunderland away, is dropping points to Brighton at home, to Chelsea at home. Then City, there are more points to be dropped there. But Arsenal also have some tough fixtures in their next 7. So it is an interesting title. You don't know actually where it's going to go if Arsenal are going to keep playing the way they're playing. You think that Arsenal are basically targeting the smaller teams to get those results, those wins against the lesser teams in the Premier League, but they're getting draws, or they want draws against the Man Cities and your Liverpools. So I don't know. I just think Arsenal should have went all out for that game. Be brave. Arteta sometimes is not brave, and I don't like that mentality. And I think that is what Rodri was saying even last season, in the previous seasons when Arsenal went to the Etihad and were looking for a draw, when they were actually in control. The title was in their hands. Go and finish the team off, finish the league off. I think last season already, we knew that Slot had run away with the league. Give yourself some real breathing space where we can already call it, and we already know Arsenal have a history of dropping 8-point leads in the title race and ultimately losing it, even if it's after Christmas. Arsenal have done that to themselves, and they've done it to Man City as well. So it's giving Man City hope. Now City have made some signings with Semenyo. They're looking for a defender. Maybe Mike Gahey can come. And if Pep stabilizes Man City and they go on that run, Arsenal will be in trouble. So I do not think it's enough at the moment to rely on games like these and just getting a point. I think they should have went all out and gotten the 3 points and effectively start killing the title race mentally. Start killing the title race mentally, emotionally, just because they are too far to be caught. And they're not doing that. But it was a poor game from their perspective. They started well, but even the fact that Kirkes handled Saka was, to me, shocking. Saka did go past Kirkes at the beginning. Even Madueke went past him, put in a cross. Gyökeres was not there. There's not too many players in Arsenal trying to get at the end of things. So it was a poor attacking performance from Arsenal. But at the end of the day, Kirkes basically pocketing Saka after that one time Saka went past him was really shocking, when Kirkes has not been playing at his best for Liverpool. But it was a brilliant game for him. It was a brilliant game from him. I was actually pretty impressed. Solid, fair play. Frimpong would have been man of the match if he had some end product. We would have said, what a game plan from Slot with Frimpong at right wing. He was getting in behind Arsenal. He was making good runs on the counter attack. He just lacked that final ball, that quality ball, a good cross, pick up a good pass in the final third, or maybe even have a shot. There's a time where he was looking for a pass when he should have shot and went all the way by himself. Otherwise, it was a good game by him, just lacking in that other side of the pitch. So I do think Liverpool were the better team. No one deserves to win it. Lastly, I want to touch on Martinelli. I do think that was really stupid of him to do. People will say, yes, he didn't know, but that's because he's the diver. He's the time waster. We know that for a fact, that even in this game, he was looking for a penalty, but there's even evidence of Arteta getting him onto the pitch when he was off 2 time wastes to receive medical attention. Arsenal time waste a lot every single season. We know this is part of their tactics. So he put his standards and Arsenal's tactics on Conor Bradley. He didn't read the room, and Conor Bradley is not the type of player to do that. And now he's injured. He's walked on crutches. And yes, I do believe that was a subdued reaction from Liverpool players. I do think maybe they should have actually confronted Martinelli a little bit more, because firstly, he puts the ball on him and then he pushes him. And remember, at no point did Conor Bradley ever leave the pitch. He was always on the pitch. he's literally always on the field. He was always going to receive medical attention. What bothers me most is the fact that Arsenal were not trying to win the game anyway. They were relying on a last-minute corner. That's what it boiled down to try and get 3 points against Liverpool, a last-minute corner. The whole second half, they were not trying to win the game. Martinelli all of a sudden thinks that Arsenal has been applying pressure to win the game. No, Arsenal were not doing that. They had plenty of time in the second half to try and go get a goal. Arsenal were not interested. So for me, please, that is poor. And yes, he will avoid punishment, so he's not going to get any further punishment, but that is poor. But he has apologized to Conor Bradley, and yeah, hopefully he does not do something like this again. I've never seen that in my life, by the way, and that's why I'm shocked and I'm saying that was poor and actually shameful from Martinelli. There's no hiding it. There's no defending it. Martinelli was wrong. So yeah, with that being said, that's my video. Very interesting title race. Arsenal still in control. It's in their hands. 6 points. Is it enough at the moment? I don't know. It can swing either way. I think Man City do have to step their game up, but Man City have a lot of tough fixtures and they're completely vulnerable right now, Man City. And with, like I said, fixtures like Man United away, Liverpool away, Spurs away, City can drop points. It looks likely. But with performances like this, that wasn't Arsenal's best performance, but at least they did not lose the game. I think they will focus on the lesser teams in the Premier League to try win those games in order to create distance between them and Man City, as well as Aston Villa, who are technically in a title race right now. Yeah, so with that being said, that's my video. Please let me know what you think. Please subscribe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching.
Hi guys, this is Ikumele Kune. I'm with KG Dato. Catch him on YouTube channel. We are football. Please, we are football channel. Sharp.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
We'll be there. Do you care though? We'll be there.
you